Sexy Voices of Hollywood, New York.
This is Sexy Voices of Hollywood, LA. West Coast. Who rocks it most?
West Coast in the house.
Someday all that shit is going to sound so stupid, the way people used to talk.
Well, it already does.
Yeah, it does.
Hello?
Hello, Jimmy.
Hey.
This is Sexy Voices of Hollywood, LA, and Sexy Voices of Hollywood, New York is on the other line.
Hello, Jimmy. How are you?
Oh, cool. I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you.
That's a good thing to be busy.
Greetings and welcome to Sexy Voices of Hollywood with your hosts Robert Taylor and
Yayoi Winfrey.
Every other week on this show, we'll present another Sexy Voice of Hollywood.
This week's guest is Jimmy Gary Jr. Besides having a sexy Hollywood voice, Jimmy is also an athlete turned actor. You can find out more about Jimmy by checking out his links at www.jimmygary.net, or you can also find him on IMDb, and his name number is 1145336.
Those links will be posted on our YouTube page, Sexy Voices of Hollywood. Welcome to the show, Jimmy.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for being with us today. You started out as an athlete, and you happen to have played for the Seattle Seahawks at some point. Tell us a little about your sports career.
Oh, okay. Growing up in Okeechobee, Florida, I played basically all three sports, basketball, football, baseball. I also ran track, but football kind of stuck out with me, and I was grateful enough to earn a football scholarship to West Virginia University. And I went on from there, and I was honored to play for the Seattle Seahawks. Short stint, but I made it to the big show, and I had a wonderful time there, and I love the game.
I see you were number 43. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience in Seattle? You said that you used to reside in the city of Kirkland, Washington?
Yes, I lived in Kirkland, and the number 43, there's a story behind that. Actually, my cousin Cleveland Gary played for the LA Rams at the time. At the time, I had three cousins in the NFL at the same time, myself, Charles Emmanuel, and Cleveland Gary. And Cleveland Gary wore number 43 for the Rams. And so when I went to the Seahawks, the running back coach left the Rams, and he came over to the Seahawks, and he was telling everyone, this is Cleveland Gary's cousin, and they gave me 43, which was Cleve's number when he was with the Rams. So my college number, I know, it's funny, right? My college number was number 21 at West Virginia, and I was number 21 basically throughout my whole life. But when I got to the Seahawks, I guess they decided to clone me with the Cleveland Gary jersey.
Good deal. And that was in 96?
Family affair, huh?
Excuse me?
Family affair, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And trust me, it was an honor to wear it because I looked up to Cleveland as a football player. You know, he was the first one in my family to actually do it on that level. And I was really excited to wear number 43.
And that was the year 1996, is that correct?
Yes, 1996.
So your experience in Seattle, it sounds as if it was very fruitful.
Oh yes, you know, I had a very short career with the Seahawks. I was injured actually. I hurt my knee. That's what actually ended my career there. But when I was there, I had a blast. You know, and my good friend John Kentner, who's actually still in the NFL right now, we started Bible study. So, and I had a blast with Cortez Kennedy, some of those old names that those guys are probably retired now. Lamar Smith, Chris Warren, all those guys. We had a blast. I used to, I can say one of my most memorable trips in Seattle was going fishing. We chartered a boat, and Mount Rainier's like there, you know, and
beautiful.
It was just wonderful. Yeah, beautiful, very beautiful. It rained some, you know. It was kind of drizzling all the time, but you know, you kind of forget about it. You know, it just happens, and you know, it's you kind of just let it go. There's some good clubs in Seattle also, you know.
The club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We hung out at this club called Pier 70.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, it was a blast. You know, and I've always been, you know, playing college football. It's no different from NFL, really. You know, there's a thin line. And so, you know, all the fans and everything were, like, surrounding us. I was in the car. It was myself, Chris Warren, and I think there's another guy with us. But we were headed to the club, and everybody was like, they knew, you know, we were there, so they were, like, banging on the windows, you know, as we were driving through the line, you know, past the line. So it was just a blast, you know. It was wonderful. We were in the mall one day, and this girl walked up to one of the former players. I'm not going to say his name, but walked to one of the former players and was like, her boyfriend was with her. And she was like, oh, what's up, cuz? You know, and so he went on along with it and everything. And so afterwards, I was like, oh, man, I didn't know you had a cousin out here, you know? And then he said, oh, she's not my cousin. I was like, oh, that was her pickup line. I was like, man, it's like that, huh? She was with her boyfriend, you know?
Wow.
But it was fun. I had a blast. But yeah, crazy things happen when you're playing on that level. You're really exposed to all different types of people, good and bad.
Fun times.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jimmy, what attracted you to show business, and how did you segue into it?
Well, acting was always a deep seed planted in me. At the age of 7, I did a community play, and I played the role of Baby Jesus. And, you know, my father, the Reverend J.L. Gary, who passed away in 2005, my father was a minister, so I was always around church theater, and I was involved in this community play. And the director told me to touch one kid, and when I touched the kid, he would stand up. And one kid had his hands over his eyes and touched the other kid, and he moved his hand. And so all, you know, it's in the Bible, the stories. And so after that, I stepped in front of the stage, downstage, and everyone started applauding. And I was like, wow, is it that simple? You know, like, what is this? What's going on? That's when the acting bug bit me, but I kind of pushed that aside for a while because it was unheard of to even think about acting, being an actor where I grew up. Especially sports is everything down in Florida. So I continued to play football, and the reason I chose to go to West Virginia was they allowed me to participate in theater. Coming out of high school, I was recruited I was the #1 running back in the country. So I was a parade All-American, as high as you can get. And people were saying, why did you go to West Virginia? Why not a Nebraska at the time or University of Miami at the time? It was because West Virginia allowed me to do theater. And I was walking through the hallway of the Creative Art Center singing one of the latest R&B songs. And this lady heard me singing, and she stepped out of her office, and she said, was that you? I was like, yes, that was me, you know. And I didn't think I was a great singer. I didn't even think I could sing. I grew up with 5 sisters, and they were always telling me to be quiet, you can't sing and all this. So I was just singing and just being free. And before I knew it, I was doing musical theater.
Wow.
I did 5 shows. I did Oklahoma, Man of La Mancha, Unsinkable Molly Brown, A Christmas Carol, Showboat, and that really launched my career as an actor. From that point, I went to Pittsburgh, auditioned for a film called The Better Days, my first movie, and I booked it. And so I called my professor and said, I just booked the film. And we had like a semester to go before I graduated with my BFA. And I was like, oh, what should I do? And he was like, go act. Go act. So I came to New York, and I never left.
So the main attraction to begin with was that engagement with the audience and having that response from the audience that got you into the theatrical track, and then from there you moved on to film?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, when I played the role of Baby Jesus, I was so young, that was the first time I actually felt the energy of an audience really enjoying theater. And it's the same feeling in football, really. When you run out of the locker room to hear the crowd screaming, it's a similar feeling. And when I went to West Virginia, the musical theater really got me. That was my first professional acting gig with West Virginia Public Theater, my first professional acting gig. And from that, I moved to film.
Speaking of which, you've been featured in over 20 movies. That's amazing. Television and commercial roles.